How's it going, everyone? So, a lot of things have been going on lately. No, I've been a little late on posting another video, but it'll be worth it. Not a whole lot of updates in this video. Just going to go over a few quick things. There's still a lot going on with the shop, getting supplies together to get everything going on that. But, wanted to just do a quick video, get something out there, and start actually putting usable stuff out. As far as the pinball machine build goes, the cabinet build, like I said in the last video, I did buy quite a few new tools. Some power, most hand tools or bits, accessories, things like that. And I wanted to go over a few of them. There's a couple I haven't used yet. They're going to get used today on putting the finishing touches on the body cabinet for the pinball machine. But first one is a Ryobi drill press. It's nothing big, nothing fancy. It's just a benchtop drill press, about 5-6 inches deep. It's got a 2-inch travel distance. It's 5-speed, 2.5 amp, more than enough for what I need it for. Now, there were a lot of different competitors for it. Porter Cable has one, Menards has their version, so on and so forth. All of them pretty much the same power requirements, same power output, same speed, all of that. The main determining factor as to why I got the Ryobi drill press instead of any of the others were some of its accessories, some features that came with it that the others didn't. Ryobi is an old enough brand. It's been around for a while now. A lot of woodworkers that operate out of their garage or a room in their house use Ryobi. It's affordable, it's decent quality, all things considered. Not the best, but it gets the job done. What this drill press has that made me go with it, it's got 2 lasers on either side of it that shoot a line down. These lines intersect to create an X. Now, regardless of what height you have the table at, those lines stay perfectly zeroed once you have them set in, if it doesn't come already zeroed in. Luckily mine did. I didn't have to tweak a thing. But it takes so much less time at the drill press now, because you're not having to set your piece, clamp it down, or hold it in place, bring the drill bit down, make sure it's online, like in the exact spot you need it. Once you have the laser zeroed in, you can throw it in, make sure it's set, clamp it down, and just go. It cuts at least 50% of the time down. And in my line of work, that's what I need. It's got more than enough power for everything I need it for. Just in the last few days, I've run everything from 1/4-inch drill bits, DeWalt drill bits through it, to 2-inch Forstner bits. And it's not giving me any trouble at all. As long as you have the belt in the correct position on the pulleys to determine its speed and power, you're good to go. I mean, you open up the door to move the belt, and it's got a chart there in the lid that tells you exactly where you need the belt for different speed requirements, so on and so forth. And you also want to pay attention to whatever bits you're going to be using in the packaging. In a lot of those bits will tell you, in a lot of instances, the maximum recommended speeds. Just like router bits. Router bits do that as well. Some drill bits do. If you're using just a regular drill bit in the press, then no need to worry. Something more like a Forstner bit or one of the boring bits, those you need to pay attention to and be careful with, because it takes no time or effort at all to completely mess up your piece. So pay attention to that and you'll be perfectly fine. I think I paid all of $139, $140 for the drill press. Full disclosure, none of this is sponsored at all. It's just my personal experience, what I like, what I don't like. For the money, it's perfect for what I need. I could have gone with any of the others, spent about the same, maybe like give or take $10, but this one was perfect for me. Moving on to router bits. For the longest time, I've always been a hardcore Lowe's lover. Praised them, bragged about them, always bought their stuff, never went to anywhere else, thought that they were the best. No. I'll get into some of the details later. Long story short, I've always gone with Irwin, the Irwin brand bits. And I bought a bunch of new bits for this pinball machine cabinet. They didn't last at all. The flush trim bit that I bought, I think I ran all of 10 feet worth of material through it and it was worn out completely. After that, the cuts were just horrendous. I had to go through and sand everything down really it was bad. So after doing a little research and talking to a couple other woodworkers, I decided to give Diablo a try. Diablo's found at Home Depot, and again, I'll go into some of the story behind Diablo later so you can understand my reasoning behind it. But decided to give Diablo a try. I got a 1-inch long, 3/8 diameter straight bit, as well as a 3-flute flush trim bit, also 3/8. I purchased a spiral upcut bit, but I haven't used that yet. That's going to come later today. So far, I have nothing but praise about Diablo. These bits are phenomenal. It's like cutting through already melted butter, more or less. There's little to no chatter, and I really couldn't speak any more highly of them. The only thing that remains to be seen is their life. With them being a newer brand to me, trying them out, I'm kind of pushing them a little bit without risking damage to any of the components that make up the pinball cabinet. But I'm pushing them harder than I would the Irwin brand, just to see what they're capable of. And so far, they have drastically exceeded my expectations. I'm definitely going to be going with Diablo router bits from this point forward. I'll try a few other brands here and there just to see if I do find something better, but in another video down the road, I will go into detail about Diablo, where they come from, quality, things like that. I also purchased a Diablo hole saw. It's 2.5 inches in diameter. Now, I've used other brands of hole saws like Linux, Irwin, a few others. They were okay, but you always had to be careful about how much force you put down on the bit. The ones that I'd used in the past from those brands, they were prone to grabbing the wood and forcing the drill to kick back on you, and that can hurt. It can also seriously damage the piece you're working on, which is no bueno. If you damage that, then you're probably going to have to recut the piece and do all that work all over again, unless you can somehow repair the damage. The Diablo brand hole saw that I bought, actually, let me grab it. Okay. This beast, it's awesome. It's quick release. It's got its own little quick release chuck in there, quick disconnect. Came with 2 other chucks for it. That's probably the wrong term, but I'm still waking up, so yeah, leave a comment if I'm wrong. Like I said, constructive criticism. Everything that's commented on, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that, I see it all as constructive criticism, and I use it to just better myself. But this is a beast. It cut through 3/4 inch maple perfectly. It didn't even try to grab, which I was impressed with. I used it on a DeWalt drill. It's a newer one that I got not too long ago. And perfect. Didn't give me any splintering, nothing. No tear out. I was pretty impressed with it. I know with metal you always want to use a cutting oil. With wood, some people still recommend a type of lubricant, be it dry or wet. Personally, I don't use any of that. I just go to town with this. Just how I am. And it did perfectly. I just wanted to brag on that for a little bit. But it's pretty simple to use. Just pull that back, slide it out, and if you've got another hole saw that you need to use another diameter, you just throw it right in, you're done. Also, the bit, also quick release. Very handy to have if you're needing to switch between different size bits and saw blades rather quickly. If you're doing a job that has some pretty strict time constraints, then I would definitely recommend this. It takes no time whatsoever to put it together and use it. I love it. Another thing, I recently had to make my own dowels for the first time ever. Not hard to do at all. I mean, you can pick up dowel rods at just about any hardware store. Lowe's, Home Depot. I'm sure Harbor Freight's got their version. But the trick is, whenever you use a dowel rod, if it's not completely hidden, you have part of the dowel rod sticking back out, you want to make your own, or just trim them to where they're flush. You need a flush cut saw. Now, what a lot of people use, it's a Japanese style flush cut saw, pole saw rather. And I recently purchased DeWalt's version. Now the blade is very flexible. It's got, I believe, 23 teeth per inch. I need to look at the packaging. I can't remember. It's in the 20s. I know that much. First time I've ever used one of these, ever. I know how they work. I've seen them used countless times, but I've never personally used them myself. I'm starting to get more and more into using dowels for certain aspects of a build, and it was time that I purchased one. Well, finally bought one, bought a couple dowel rods, actually put them to use and put this to the test, and I gotta say, for a 5/16 diameter dowel and a 3/8 diameter dowel, this worked perfectly. I absolutely love this pole saw. With its flexible blade, you put it right up against your workpiece. You can bend it a little bit. That's perfectly fine. It's actually meant to do that. That way you don't gouge out your surface area with the handle. It's best if you put a piece of painter's tape down just to give it that hair thickness above the face of your workpiece, which you can go back later and sand it down with some 220 sandpaper. Perfectly, that's what I do. Best thing to do is to put a piece of painter's tape down or masking tape. Make sure it's flush with your workpiece and just pull it. You line it up. It's got these little areas right here where you can set it in and pull, or if it's already bent, no issue. It literally took it took 4 or 5 pulls total to get through a 5/16 inch dowel and a 3/8 inch diameter dowel. Very sharp, very effective, very smooth cut. The only reason I had to go back through and do any sanding is because the tape. Just that hair thickness, I didn't want that, so I sanded it down with some 220 using my orbital sander. Perfect. Absolutely perfect finish. If you do use dowels in any of your work, I would recommend this. There are a lot of different brands out there, a lot of different styles out there, all of them meant for the same purpose of cutting dowels, dovetails, things like that. I wouldn't recommend this for dovetails just because flexible blade, you may wind up screwing up a dovetail. But as far as dowels go, get you a good quality pull saw. I absolutely loved it, and I kind of flinched at buying it because, well, new type of saw, never used it before. Do I want to spend the money on this? And worth it. Very worth it. That's pretty much it as far as the new tools that I've already used go. I'll be using the spiral upcut bit later today on the body cabinet for the pinball machine. I'll be posting a video about that after its use. Never used a spiral upcut bit or downcut bit before, so it's going to be interesting, but they're not hard to use. They're pretty straightforward. I'm just going to be looking at the quality of the cut. That's really all I care about. The dust collector, ran into some issues with that through the supplier. Trying to get that worked out so I can get it in. I need to get the dust collector set up first before I really do anything else to the shop, mainly because the miter bench / storage wall, that's kind of going to be built around it. The ductwork's going to be running through it in some places. Yeah, you can account for the measurements in your design, but there's always variables. In every single thing you do, there are variables. There are unknowns. There are what-ifs. When you actually have the pieces in place and you can take measurements or you can see them, that eliminates a lot of them. It takes all the guesswork out and, oh, I hope this is going to fit. Should I go with this? Well, just wait till you got it. So, if I don't get it here in the next week or so, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the Cyclone, run all the ductwork from that, and just go from there. The pinball cabinet should be done, if not by the end of today, then by the end of Monday. Today's Friday, by the way. After that, I am going to immediately start on my daughter's birthday present, which is going to be one of the old-style entertainment centers, like the CRTs sat in. I'm converting that into a small kitchen set. It's going to have a fake fridge and freezer on the side, a fake oven, cabinet. I found a toy plastic sink where the faucet actually works. It's got a pump in it and cycles. It's really cool. $10 at Walmart. I mean, come on. Got the entertainment center for free. Picked up the sink and all the kitchen toy stuff for $10-15. So all that's left is, I've already got sandpaper, so paint and primer. That's it. Paint and primer. I'm going to go back through later on, install some LED lighting in it, so it kind of feels more real. She can have more fun with it as much as she loves to pretend to cook. So I'll be posting an in-depth video on that. I know I've got a lot of friends who like to upcycle things. This is technically considered upcycling. I'll be posting a lot of pictures and in-depth videos on that. Normally, I use chalk paint when upcycling. For this application, I'm just going to use your average wall paint, high durability wall paint, not the paint and primer combo. I'm going to go through and prime it first and then paint. You get a little bit better finish on the application, on the end result when you do that. Not dissing the paint primer combo at all. There are areas where that's perfect. It tends to be a little more cost effective, but when you're working on a small piece like this, it's old, it's got a few dings and stuff, then you need to kind of do it step by step like they used to do in the good old days. That's it for now. There's going to be more pictures, updates, photos, all of that to come here shortly. Until then, I'm going to get back to work on the pinball machine cabinet, have fun with that, and there's part of the back box. once I get that done, I need to desperately clean the shop. It looks like a home improvement store kind of blew up in here with everything that's been going on. Yeah. So, stay posted, and hopefully you'll see more stuff here real soon. Also, YouTube. I've got the YouTube channel up and running. I'm in the process of uploading videos and all this stuff to it now. This will be uploaded to it eventually, and then once I get it linked to the Facebook page, I'm going to just upload everything to YouTube and post the link to the video on the Facebook page. A little bit easier, lets me keep track of the videos a little bit better. I have more options as to what I can do with the videos through YouTube. So it's just makes sense. Bet. See you in a bit.